students, welcome to my English literature class of grade 10 once again. I hope you all are keeping good, and once again I would suggest you all stay home, save lives, which is very much required these days. In reference to the online classes of Mother of India Public School, I, Gurvinder Kaur, is here again with my next class, which is based on poem number 1. Name of the poem is Dust of Snow, written by Robert Frost. Okay, so before I start with it, let me tell you a bit about the poem. This poem is written by Robert Frost, and he has used as an instrument in the poem crow and hemlock tree. Crow is a dark bird and also a harsh voiced bird, and a hemlock tree is a poisonous tree. So here he has used these two instruments to show the positive side of the nature. According to him, we should not ponder over every time to the negative things, but appreciate a little things in our life which would make our life better and happier. Okay students, so here poem 1, Dust of Snow by Robert Frost. Now let me tell you first about the poet. Robert Frost was one of the greatest American poets. He was born in San Francisco on March 26, 1874. He is well known for the depiction of nature and rural life. His poem, Dust of Snow, was published in New Hampshire in 1923. Now here is introduction to the poem. Dust of Snow by Robert Frost is a brief poem but conveys the poet's message coherently. The poem shows how human judgment on certain issues can be misleading. The poet depicts the crow and the hemlock tree, as I told you, as reasons for his changed mood and increased optimism. Now summary of the poem. The poem describes a moment that is simple but has a larger significance. A crow sitting on a hemlock tree shakes off the dust of snow on the poet. This simple action changes the depressive mood of the poet. Lost in the sorrow, as the poet was, he has wasted a part of his day repenting, but now with the change of mood, he wants to utilize the rest of the day in some useful activity or constructively. His sorrow was washed away by the light shower of snow dust. Message of the poem. The poem conveys the message that even a simple incident can be capable of pulling out a man from depression and change his outlook about how he sees this world. Now I'm going to tell you the main points of the poem, like how it started and end. It was a winter day. Next, the tree tops were covered with snowflakes. Since it was a winter day, so tree tops were covered with snowflakes. The poet was standing under one such tree, which was covered with snow, and it was a hemlock tree. Suddenly, a crow alighted on the hemlock tree. Sudden movement of the crow let the snowflakes fell on the poet. Snowflake refers to dust of snow. That is the name of the poem. Now, after this, falling of the snowflake on the poet was ordinary, but it changed the mood of the poet entirely. He then repented on being sad and sorrowful. Finally, what he decided, the poet decided to utilize the rest of the day constructively. Okay, students. Now, generally all the poems have the rhyme scheme. So here is the rhyme scheme of the poem Dust of Snow. This poem is of 8 lines divided in 2 stanzas. Both the stanzas are of 4 lines. Rhyme scheme is AB, AB for the first 4 lines of the poem and CD, CD for the next 4 lines of the poem. Now the poetic device used in the poem Dust of Snow. Poetic device which is used, that is alliteration. See these 2 lines from the poem. Has given my heart
and saved some part. These are two different lines. The letter here H, and in the same line again H of heart. Here S of saved and again S of some. To get it more clearer, let me tell you, it is a figure of speech. Alliteration is a figure of speech in which a letter is repeated or the sound is repeated for two or more than two times in a line. See the letter H, H repeated. It has come for two times in a line. Here S and S. This letter has come for two times in a line, and it can be more than two also. This is called alliteration.
So students, this was all for this class. In the next video, I'll be giving you question answers of the same poem, Dust of Snow. See you. Take care.